Hello, and thank you for joining us for Broncos Post-Game Live. I am Phil Milani alongside Todd Davis and Derek Wolfe. The Broncos fall to the Las Vegas Raiders 32-23. A tough day all around for this Broncos squad. Their fifth consecutive loss to the Raiders. Todd, what did you see out there?
I felt like there was, of course, some big plays on our offense, and we scored points, but there was no sustained drive, which means the defense was back on the field after either a big play or a 3-and-out. It kept them on the field for a long time, which led to 214 rushing yards by the Raiders, and they were able to put together some offense on their side of the ball. We have to be more balanced and be able to help each other out. Good offense creates good defense, and good special teams create good offense. It all has to flow together.
What did you see, Derek?
Well, you know, a football game usually comes down to one or two plays. And I think that the biggest play of that game was that fumble by Melvin Gordon. And, I mean, that just really set us back as a team. You know, you can't have that. You can't be pumping the ball out every game. You can't do it. You just can't have that. And it's inexcusable, really. You know, that your job is to secure the football. You got to secure it.
Yeah, that was Melvin's fourth fumble of the season. Now, let's get to the highlights here, show you how this thing unfolded out at Allegiant Stadium. The Broncos looking pretty good early on. Russell Wilson with a strike to Courtland Sutton in the back of the end zone. The Broncos up 7-3 early in this game, but like Derek just talked about, maybe the play of the game here. Melvin Gordon, his first carry of the game, and he coughs it up. The Raiders scoop and score all the way the other end. Todd, tough to trust Melvin after this, huh?
Yeah, it's tough, and I think that this is his fourth fumble in the fourth game of the season. You can't average a fumble a game for the entire season. That's going to be really bad for the team to put him in a bad position there.
The Broncos trailing by 8 in the fourth. They find KJ Hamler, his first catch of the season, 55 yards. They hurry to the line of scrimmage, and Russ finishes it off himself, a diving touchdown. The Broncos down just 25-23, looking to get the ball back, but the defense on third down, it's Zamir White with the backbreaker. That pitch ends the game. The Raiders added a touchdown, and the Broncos go on to lose 32-23. Look at the numbers here, and it's pretty easy to see how they lost this game. Of course, the turnover, but the Raiders dominating time of possession and also those rushing yards. Derek, that's going to make you upset seeing the run defense.
Well, that's time of possession. That's the run game right there. I mean, look at the difference. You can't have that. As a defensive line, you have to take some pride. You know, as a team as a whole, you know, you can't only rush for 85 on the offense, and you can't give up 200 yards on the defense. That's how you lose games. You can't make a team one-dimensional if you're letting them run the ball. You know, we did some good things out there. We had, you know, Surtain did a great job of locking down Davante Adams. You know, still had a 100-yard game, but, you know, he locked him down. When it was man on, he was locking him down in the first half. And they made some adjustments that we couldn't adjust to, mismatches and stuff like that were taking advantage of our defense.
There was a couple of injuries for the Broncos, too, that we'll talk about here. Javonte Williams, Randy Gregory, both left this game on carts, so we'll have to hear from Nathaniel Hackett in a little bit. But let's go out to Allegiant Stadium and check in with Eric Dalala and Steve Atwater.
Steve, a disappointing one here in Las Vegas. Let's start with the end of the game. It looked like the Broncos were going to have a chance, and then the Raiders go right down the field, 75 yards. The run defense just couldn't quite get it done. 212 rushing yards for the Raiders today.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Josh Jacobs has had our number for several years in a row now, and it was the same thing today. He kind of ran at will. It seemed like we were doing a lot of arm tackling. We got to get body on body when you're attacking the guy who's low to the ground and is as powerful as Josh Jacobs is. I think that was maybe the key to the game for them to get the win, was them coming in there, getting the run game going and sticking with it right there to the end.
And then there was so much good defensively because Pat Surtain did a nice job against Davante Adams. They were able to have a couple of goal line stands that held them to field goals. But at the end of the day, some of these running plays, Derek Carr, for example, gets 3, runs for a first down. That was critical. Offensively, Steve, the Broncos were really good at times in the first half and then stalled in the second until the end of the second half. What did you see from that group? It wasn't quite clicking all the time.
Yeah, we couldn't really get the run game going, and then, of course, Javonte Williams going down. That certainly didn't help the situation. The fumble by Melvin Gordon, return for a touchdown. That was a huge play, huge turning point in the game as well. But, yeah, we really couldn't get anything going. KJ Hamler came in, made an amazing play, beautiful pass by Russell Wilson to get us back into the game and back to where we were competitive. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it seems to me, Russ, he's capable of doing these heroic things of going down the field, scoring a long touchdown drive, or doing these miraculous sorts of plays, but you don't want to live and die by that. You want to be able to find a way to get into a rhythm offensively. They did it in the first half, but like you mentioned, they couldn't do it in the second half. And last thing, Steve, just wondering, the Broncos now 5 straight to the Raiders. They still haven't won here since 2015. What's it going to take to get it done on the road against a division opponent?
Well, I know we have the talent on the team. I know we have the coaches. I just think when we come in to Las Vegas, we have to have a mindset that's different than any other game that we played. And that's a mindset of dominance, and that, we're going to be in a dogfight, and knowing right from the start, they're going to come out and punch us in our nose, and that's what, we're going to have to respond by punching them right back. And today, I don't feel like we did that. Although we played a decent game, it wasn't enough. It's not enough to win here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, now the Broncos 2-2. Got a big one coming up in just a few days. I hope they can survive these injuries. Javonte Williams, we saw him go down. Randy Gregory, those are 2 critical things that we'll have to monitor here, Steve. Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, a couple of big injuries with the Broncos now. A quick turnaround, having to face the Colts coming up here on Thursday night. We are back in studio alongside Todd Davis and Derek Wolfe. As you heard right there, the last win against the Raiders on the road, back when you were playing. You guys were both playing. It sucks to lose to the Raiders anytime you do that.
Yeah, I hate the Raiders. I don't know how you feel about them, Wolf, but
Absolutely hate them.
I can't stand them, man. I just know that they do a lot after the play. They're very chippy. They're very aggressive, even when the whistle is blown. So I never like to see them get a win. And, it's tough. These divisional games are always going to be tough. So you want to rack in as many as you can at the beginning of the season, because we all know the back half of the season is going to be a very tough stretch for the Broncos. So this was a tough one to lose.
That was a physical game, Derek.
I mean, they ran the ball down their throats is what happened. And you can't let that happen, especially against the Raiders. You got to know what they're going to come out and try to do. Right? They're not going to put the ball in Derek Carr's hand and try to make him win the game. They got an all-pro running back. I played against the guy. We both played against the guy. We know what kind of back he is. You got to bring it. And Steve said it best. You can't arm tackle a guy like that. You got to bring your body into that. You got to body on body and fit him up and get 11 guys to the ball. I think they looked a little flat. Maybe they were looking to the future a little bit. Maybe looking down the road to Thursday Night Football. That happens sometimes in this league, and you just have to live with it. And I think they need to try to put this behind them, try to get over the injuries that are happening here. Losing Williams is a huge hit to the team. Gregory as well. So, knock on wood that those guys are going to be okay and maybe bounce back here in a week or two. But for the most part, it's inconsistent football that's going on. Red zone offense isn't playing great. We have the best red zone defense in the league, but you saw what happened right there at the end of the game, giving up a touchdown. You can't have that. You got to play consistent football and be able to rely on the things that your bread and butter. What are your bread and butter? And you got a new coach. You got a new quarterback. There are a lot of new pieces to this. Mm-hmm. So I think people need to be a little patient with this team and let things kind of unfold, and everything's going to come together for them.
Let's hear from the Broncos head coach. He's walking up to the podium right now.
Javonte in particular and Randy, do you have any indication about severity there?
No. Right now we're still evaluating it. We want to be sure we get MRIs and get a feel for everything there.
And then in the second half, what changed, particularly with your defense in the fourth quarter? I mean, you've been pretty stout against the run this year, and it looked like the dam sort of burst, obviously, as the game went on.
Yeah, we knew when we went into this game, we were going to have to knock that run out early, and they do have a very good run game. I give them so much credit. They came out and had a really good plan. They stuck with it throughout the entire game, and when you run for the over 200 yards, it's going to be detrimental. I mean, they had a lot of plays. I thought they had a good plan. They didn't want to get into long down and distance for passing situations, so we could rush the passer, and they tried to slow the whole pace down, and so I thought it was a really good plan by them.
Coach, through the first 4 weeks, the offense has faced several long field situations, second and third down. What's your level of concern with that, and especially with the short turnaround, how do you get that fixed?
Yeah, I mean, we can't go backwards, obviously, especially with some of those penalties and things like that. I thought that was a great one. I mean, at one point, I think we were 1st and 30, battled back and scored on that drive. So the guys are still battling through that. But those are self-inflicted wounds, whether it's a blocking pattern we're messing up and going backwards or a sack, any of those things. We got to get better. And I think that across the board, as an offense, I think we will.
Melvin's fumble, when you have a sudden change like that where you're driving and it turns into a touchdown the other way, how much did you feel like that was kind of the swing in the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously anytime, you turn the ball over, it's a big swing, and then that leading to a touchdown or on the same recovery is obviously rough, but I really loved how the guys battled. They stayed in it. They could have definitely gone down in the tank, and they didn't. We still had a chance there at the end, got it down to a field goal game there at the end. And, I mean, in the end, that's what you're asking from your team. I mean, all those things, they do happen, and that's a hard way to win games whenever you lose the turnover differential and it being a score. But they battled back, and I thought that was really good.
Nate, where's just your trust level with Melvin right now? We didn't see him much before that fumble, and then obviously we didn't see him much after the fumble either.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you can't put the ball on the ground. I mean, it's that simple. We always say take care of the ball. That's the most important thing. And, it's not like he's trying to do it. We understand that, but we just have to be even better with our ball security across the board. The other guys did a good job, and, Melvin had that one.
What did you see from the offense in the red zone? I think 2 or 3 down there, and then defensively had that stop there. I think toward the end of the third quarter. Just what did you see there that gave you guys a chance?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just getting those plays down there. In the past, we've had a lot of opportunities in the red zone. We moved the ball in there, and we've just missed them by inches. We've had all kinds from going back to all those games. I mean, if we get a couple of those, it looks a lot different. Today we came through and got one. Love the one that Courtland had. That was an extended play by Russell. So watching him being able to extend plays definitely is going to help down there.
Coach, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You mentioned Russell. Seemed like he sort of got a grasp and feel best that we've seen in the first 4 weeks. Just comment on his play. Overall, like to see more out of your offense, but Russell looked a lot better today.
Yeah, I think he's definitely starting to get a feel for everything. I think that he's doing a good job getting the ball out and also stepping up in the pocket, moving around. He's using his feet and being able to find people down the field. The run game, we just got to get that going a little bit earlier. There were some good ones, but just not consistent enough. And then as we slowly mesh all that stuff together, it'll be even better.
Yeah, Coach,
All right, that's Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett speaking live to the media after a 32-23 loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. Russell Wilson looked good in the first half. In the second half, the game sort of changed maybe when Javonte Williams left it with a knee injury. What are the Broncos going to do with a running back now? Because it seems like they can't really trust Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, when Javonte Williams went out, it really made them one-dimensional. It really took the running game out of perspective for the Broncos. They had to rely solely on Russell Wilson's arm and his talent. I like Mike Boone. He's a great player, but he's no Javonte Williams, and I think everybody knows that. Melvin Gordon has to do whatever he can to keep the football and get it under wraps. You can't fumble, average 1 fumble a game. I don't care if he has to carry one all day, every day to meetings while they travel. He needs to get a football in his hands and make sure he never lets go of it again.
Because defenders, I mean, they know, hey, Mel, this guy gives it up. We're going after it right there.
I mean, we used to say that when we played against him. Yeah, we knew he was going to give the ball up. We knew that he was a liability. And like Todd said, you got to do something. You can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. You got to try something new and try to make it happen. And I'm wishing the best for him. I hope that he does turn it around and he does come in and be that back for us that we need. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Broncos are going to have to do something on running back here. Quick turnaround with the Colts coming to town on Monday night. And we heard from Nathaniel Hackett there. No update just yet on how severe these injuries are to Javonte Williams and also Randy Gregory. Going to have to get an MRI on that. Let's go inside the Broncos locker room. Sidney Jones standing by with Jerry Jeudy.
Thanks, Phil, here with wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. Jerry, obviously not the outcome you guys wanted, but a really tough battle here in Las Vegas. What were some of the main takeaways you got from this offense today?
We just kept fighting. We didn't ever give up. Even when we down, we always had plenty of time left in the game, so we just kept fighting as an offense, and we could do big things like that if we keep fighting.
The offense put up the most points that you guys have had yet this season, 23 points. What was working for this offense today?
I think we were just executing, everybody doing their part, everybody making plays, and when the plays get called for you to make them, just take advantage of them. I feel like that's what we did. and that's what we got to keep doing.
Short week here, just a couple of days to prepare for Indy on Thursday night. What do you want to see the offense really focus on within the next couple of days?
Just staying consistent. On the first half, we had a good drives going, moving the ball. The second half, we kind of slowed down a little bit. And just keep it going, keep it consistent, and that's the biggest thing for real.
You mentioned you guys were a little bit slower in the second half. What kind of changed for you guys?
I don't know. We just wasn't executing that well. Penalties, missing assignments and stuff like that. Little things like that we could fix this upcoming week. So, yeah.
All right, well, ready to turn the page to Indy. What's the mindset here within the next couple of days?
Right now, just go over this, watch over this game, and take care of our bodies and focus on Indy.
Jerry, appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Jerry Jeudy, his second touchdown of the season, a nice play, 20-yarder there in the second quarter. The Broncos now 2-2 on the season. A couple of bright spots, though, today. I thought that maybe Draymond Jones had a nice game. You're seeing him improve as the season goes on.
Yeah, he really played well. I feel like he was in the backfield the entire game. The offensive line didn't know how to handle him. He's strong, he's fast, he's physical. I know that was one of your young bucks when he came in, Wolf, so I know you're happy to see him doing well.
Yeah, what did you think about how he's improved?
I mean, he's putting size on, right? That's what you want to see, and he's playing mean. That was the problem. I felt like his rookie year, he just wasn't mean enough yet, and now he's got that edge to him, that dog in him, and I knew it was in him. He just, he had to let himself flourish a little bit and come out of his shell. But he's putting the weight on. He's putting the work in. His play recognition is great. You could tell it. He knows when it's run or pass. Those things are important. And, Mike Purcell, he plays great up front as well for us. Same with Jones. We got a great defensive line. They just they got to play better against the run. Like they cannot. I don't care how good the running back is, what the team is. It does not matter. You can't give up 200 yards rushing. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that.
You got to have you said dog, and you got a good defense has to have a couple of guys like that. I mean, when you guys won Super Bowl 50, there was a few guys on that team, certainly.
Yeah, I think that team was loaded with dogs. We had starters that were dogs. We had backups that were dogs. There was dogs all over the field. Now, it was a lot of people holding others accountable. To give up 200 yards wasn't acceptable by anybody, and you heard about it when you got to the locker room. If you weren't doing your job, best believe Aqib, Chris, or Vaughn, or somebody came and told you, hey, you need to step it up, or we'll find somebody else to do it for you.
Mm-hmm. You were one of those leaders saying that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we said it to each other. If, Aqib would come, if there was a run over 3 yards, Aqib was up in my ear. And if I saw somebody catching the ball, you better believe I was in his ear. Exactly. But it's a brotherly love, man. I love you, you love me. We're going to do this for each other. And that's what it's got to come down to. And that's why I keep saying, give this team some time. They're building. You got teams like the Bills they've been building that team for, 5 years now. It takes time. It took time for us to win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning and an all-world defense. It took 4 years for us to get that Super Bowl win. So be patient with this team, and it'll all come together.
Yeah, the Broncos are still in a pretty good position here, 2-2, despite the tough loss to the Raiders today. Let's go back inside the Broncos locker room and check in with Sidney Jones again.
Thanks, Phil. We're inside the locker room here with outside linebacker Bradley Chubb. Bradley, a really tough battle here in Las Vegas tonight. What did you think of the defense's performance?
I feel like we could have been better for sure. Me personally, I feel like I could have did a lot more. But at the end of the day, we just got to learn from it, regroup, and learn from our mistakes and get ready for the short week.
What did Coach Hackett say to you guys in the locker room following the game?
We just got to get that ugly taste out of our mouths. It's lucky we get a quick turnaround, but it's so much to clean up. And we're right there on both sides of the ball. So just when we clean those things up, the sky's the limit for us. I just can't wait to see where we go.
You mentioned there's a lot of things to clean up. What do you want to see the defense really work and focus on this next week?
I feel like we've been good against the run, and I feel like today we kind of let that slip away from us, 100-plus yards. And we know Indianapolis has a good run attack, so we got to make sure we knock that out and get to those long, third and long, second and long positions so we could work off the edges.
A short week here heading into a Thursday night game. What's the mindset in this short week as you guys, come off this loss?
Just get it in, get it out. It happened. Watch the film tomorrow. We might have an off day because of the short week, get our bodies right, but get in, get out. Just make sure we locked in on the next opponent because it's coming up so quick. It's going to be Thursday before you know it, so we just can't let it dwell.
Bradley, appreciate your time.
For sure, appreciate you.
Phil, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Bradley Chubb, you could hear it in his voice. He was upset. And earlier this week, he talked about how he hated the Raiders. So I'm sure this one is tough to swallow. Let's talk about the other side of the ball a little bit, guys. Russell Wilson, in that first half, certainly it looked like things were coming a little bit easier for him.
He's starting to put it together. I feel like his throws are becoming more on target, and he's making some better throws, as well as he's using his legs. I feel like every week I get on here and talk about how Russ needs to cook and use his legs. Today he was able to do that to extend plays and drives and even find the end zone. So as long as Russ continues to use his legs, the offense is going to be just fine.
Russ was actually the Broncos' leading rusher today, 29 yards. So that kind of tells you how tough it was on the road or on the ground for the Broncos. What are you seeing from Russ?
First of all, your quarterback can't be your leading rusher. No. Not when it's Russell Wilson. If it's Lamar Jackson, that's a different story. But you're talking about Russell Wilson. This guy's one of the best passers in the league. He did what right there at the end of the game. If you saw how he got out of the pocket and was able to extend plays, that's where he's great. That's what makes him a great player. So they need to put him in that position more to where he can get out of the pocket, where he's not standing behind a 6'7" dude or guys that are a lot taller than him. It's hard for him to see down the field. And I'm not knocking the guy for his size or anything. I'm just saying, put him in the best position possible. And where he's, history shows what he's great at, right? His tape shows that when he gets out of the pocket, he makes great passes and he extends plays. So let him do that.
Yeah, there was a stretch there to start the second half where it was just really difficult on the offensive side of the ball. Just like 5 plays, 3 and out. There was one sequence where they were backed up. Russ got a ball batted, couldn't see a guy on another play. They couldn't really sustain anything. That kind of makes it, when you're not in any kind of rhythm, it's hard to do anything.
It is. They couldn't sustain drives, and then when it did feel like they were putting something together, they were having costly penalties. I know they were at first and 30 at one point. They ended up rattling back to get a touchdown, but you can't start off drives like that, and you can't keep putting your team in situations to where it's 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 15, and now we have to try to, make up yards and make a manageable third down. They need to stay on pace. They need to stay on the clock. 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2. That's how you sustain drives. That's how you put together long drives and how you help to keep your defense off the field.
Beating themselves. I think I saw that they're the most penalized team in the league right now. Mm-hmm. And that ain't good.
Yeah.
You can't win football games if you're beating yourself. So they got to clean that up. But that just takes time, you know what I mean? That's like I keep saying, it takes time for a team to do those things. You got to put this all together. It's a whole new offense. It's a whole new – everything's new. Yeah. So, the expectations shouldn't be that high after the last couple of years anyways, right? So it's like, hey, if we get a 500 team right now, right, which they're a 500 team right now, all that they can do is go up from there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, expectations, I do think were high just because it's Russ. Mm-hmm. So you're feeling like it's high. But
$240 million man.
Well, when you pay a guy like that, you expect something out of him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that he's starting to come around. A pressure is either felt or applied, and Russ is the kind of person that applies it. He doesn't feel it. So yeah, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, and you saw him trying to rally the guys there on the sideline. I mean, it did feel like, okay, here goes Russ again. They're going to bring, if the defense was able to get the ball back, I felt pretty confident that they were going to go down and win the game. I mean, that's what Russ gives you, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and that's what's so different about last year or, even 3 or 4 years in the past. When we were down in the fourth quarter, it felt like, the game was over at that point. But Russ gives you that hope and that mentality that, hey, we can still keep driving back in there. If there's a close game, we have a chance to pull it out and pull out a win.
Yeah. One of the biggest plays on the offensive side of the ball, that moon shot to KJ Hamler. Nice to see him come back a little bit here with his all the injuries that he's gone through. He was talking at his locker after the game here.
Yeah, we had a couple dudes go down, so but now it's just next man up, from this point on, and just, pray to God that their health is going to be good and everything's going to be good for the next few games. And, if they got to sit down, they got to sit down for a minute, trust me, I've been through it. I've been patient for a while. So, we just got to get everything back in the rhythm.
Obviously, it's pretty fresh for him, so you probably won't talk now. But is that something at some point, since you've gone through this and the devastation of having to sit and wait, that you talk to some of those guys, reach out to them?
Yeah, we're not going to speak that into existence. We're going to say it's minor right now.
Good.
I don't like speaking things into existence, but yeah, if any injury to anybody, I'll be the perfect dude to sit down and talk with them about it. Just keep their head in it because I know how I was once.
KJ, can you also talk about your other guy Jerry with the great touchdown? Court had a great game. We're seeing big game for you guys.
Oh yeah, we always prepared. unfortunately we didn't come out with the win, but, we got to do our job no matter what, whatever the outcome is. So, Court, Jew, Kendall, Montreal out there making plays on punt return and stuff like that, So, we always prepare. We always going to be 10 toes down.
A lot of people contributed. KJ, thanks for time. Appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
KJ, what do you think went wrong?
All right, that's KJ Hamler. Nice to see him come back. Missed a game earlier this year, and he's working his way back from the ACL and the hip there. Another speedster who did a nice job out there, Montreal, Washington. He gave the Broncos some pretty good starting field position.
I think he played great, and I think that is the recipe for Broncos to have success. The defense did a great job of keeping the Raiders backed up. Then you get a punt, and Montreal is able to make somebody miss and then put the offense in great field position. That leads to points, that leads to touchdowns and scores, and I think he needs to be commended for, putting it together. Sometimes it takes time to really be great in this league, but he's a rookie doing his thing and doing a great job of it.
Yeah. It's a momentum changer. When you got a returner that it gets you amped up on the sidelines. You can remember, anytime there's a big play on special teams, when you're about to go on the field, it turns you up. It gets you amped up and excited to get out there on the field. And it's not like, oh, here we go again, And it's not like this anxiety of waiting for him to drop the ball either. So I think that Montreal is going to be a really good player for a long time in this league, and I think he's just going to keep getting better and better.
Definitely provided a spark for this Broncos offense. Let's go back out to Vegas again here, and Courtland Sutton is at the podium.
How difficult is that to overcome?
Yeah, those are the things that you guys heard me talk about since the beginning of the season. It's those setbacks that we control, and if we eliminate those, then as we've seen time and time again, our offense can move the ball. It's just whenever we set ourselves back, it hinders us, and it winds up coming back to bite us in the butt. And now we're looking at 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 11 versus us being in a 3rd and manageable situation.
What were some of the positives that you did kind of take out tonight? Obviously, kind of KJ getting on the board, having one. What were your takeaways from the positive perspective?
Yeah, man. As a team, the guys fought the entire time, and as an offense, the same thing. Guys are up there fighting, trying to make sure that we stayed in the game, and continue to have a chance to go win the game. And you mentioned KJ, man, I'm so proud of him. I think he knows it, but I don't think he really understands because, he and I had conversations, and, you guys have probably seen it. He's not getting the playing time that he probably would like to get, but, him staying ready and never knowing when your number's going to get called, and he stayed ready, and his number got called, and he made a huge play for us and gave us that momentum to be able to have an opportunity to be able to come back there in the fourth quarter. And, if he, is in his feels about, not getting the PT he has, and he goes out and he's not ready to go make that play, then, it becomes a bigger thing. But he stayed ready, and he was ready for his number to be called, and he went out there and made a big play for us. And that's the thing that, I think that's a testament to a lot of guys on our team is everyone is staying ready for the opportunity to get called. At Kendall last week, KJ coming to this week and making a big play, and then the defense continues to, make those plays and, just staying ready.
Courtland, obviously a short week ahead. How do you as a captain kind of embrace the message in the locker room of flushing this game down and kind of preparing for a new opponent in just a couple days?
Yeah, we go in, we watch this film, learn from the mistakes. There's a lot of good and bad on the film from this game, and we can't just put it to bed and completely put it away. But we got to go in, learn from it, and we're right into Indy, getting ready to go out there and have an amazing game on a Thursday night. And it's on us to go in and as the coaches would say, not be sensitive about, the things that we need to fix. Go in there, get those things corrected, because we can't keep coming back and us having the same conversation of we're right there, because eventually it's going to be too late if we continue to have those right there's and, we don't have those wins piling up on the other side. So it's on us to go in there and be, pros about it and go in there and learn from it and move forward so that we can have the best week of mental prep and as much physical prep as we can going into Thursday.
Courtland Ramirez with the Associated Press, with how the offense has looked the first 3 weeks, and then you come out today, get the first touchdown. There were 3 prime field positions for you guys. Russell had his best day since joining the Broncos. Does it almost feel, and the defense holding the Raiders to 4 field goals, does it almost feel like a wasted opportunity from the offensive standpoint and the opportunities that you did have?
We just, kind of to the first question, we set ourselves back. Yes, we had those times in the game where we had prime field position, and we took advantage of a couple of those. We didn't take advantage of all of them. We took advantage of a couple of them. But the times that we're starting on 25, we got to go put a drive together. We can't, go out there and have a hold on first down, a hold on second down. Those are the things that are taking us off schedule. Like I said, whenever we stay on schedule and we are staying ahead of the chains, that's when we are at our best. And those are the things that we can control. And it's really just about like I continue to say, it's about us making sure that we eliminate those things that are hurting us, so that we can have those opportunities to go put more points on the board. Like you saw, we can do it. It's just about us eliminating those mental mistakes, those things that are hurting ourselves.
So that's Courtland Sutton live at the podium after a difficult game. The Broncos fall 32-23 to the Raiders. Sutton, though, it seems like he's taken a step in his career this season, especially as he's worked his way back last year from the ACL, and then now he's really become a leader for this offense.
Yeah, I think he's a leader on the team, and I think he's a great wide receiver for the team. I think they need to do more to try and get him the ball. I love that he was able to score a touchdown, but I think he can do more than slants and, third down, go-to guy. He can take people over the top. If he's one-on-one with somebody, I trust him in a jump ball situation. I would love for them to put more responsibility on his shoulders during the game and let him really carry the passing offense.
He had his first touchdown of the season. The Broncos had been struggling in the red zone. Russ knows, hey, this guy's a big target in the red zone.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guy's a freak. Look at his build. The guy's bigger and stronger and faster than most of these other guys he's playing against. So put him in position to win the game. Put him in position to make plays, because he's going to make it. He catches everything. So, just a solid all-around guy, kind of guy you want on your team no matter what. He's always going to put the work in, always going to try to stay positive, always trying to win, always trying to do what's best for the team. I love Court, so I want to see him succeed.
Okay, well, the Broncos are going to have a quick turnaround here with a running back situation a little bit up in the air. One guy they're going to have to rely on is Mike Boone. He was talking to the media at his locker.
This game. Yeah, man. We just got to come out and execute. Shot ourselves in the foot, a few times, but got to make those corrections at practice and make sure we don't come out next week and do the same thing. It felt good to come in and contribute, but we fell short, so it don't really matter.
You, Javonte, and Melvin have talked in the past how tight this running back is. Are you trying to do too much? Were you trying to do too much in that situation?
It don't matter if I'm trying to do too much or, I feel this way or that way. My job is, to go out there and make plays, hold on to the ball. And help put this team in the best position to win. And, I didn't do that today, but, I'll be all right.
Melvin, you guys have a quick turnaround, and we don't know the prognosis on Javonte necessarily, but you have to expect a busier workload Thursday. So how do you put a game like this and the fumbles out of your mind so you can get right for Thursday?
I have to for the team. I care about them boys more, than I do, any fan, any person, especially when we out there, because it's just us. I make a mistake. First guys over there to, cheer me up and get me back right. Them boys believe in me. I just got to do better.
Melvin, you mentioned a couple of days ago that you were doing extra work on ball security on the practice field. So, how frustrating is it that, you put the extra work in and it still happens?
Obviously, Melvin Gordon very emotional there up at the podium. Heard a little bit from Mike Boone there for a second, but then Melvin Gordon talking about how he felt like he let his team down. I mean, that's tough for a guy, when the game is that close to cough it up like that. It's tough when you feel like you let your guys down.
It's tough. You put so much time and effort into every game plan. They've been practicing since OTAs. I'm sure he's been working on ball security this whole time. So for him to cough it up, he feels like he let his team down. It was a close game up until that point, and that kind of changed the momentum of that game. So I understand where he's coming from. But I know that he's a good player. I know that he's going to do what is necessary to put his team in a better position next week. It's a short week, so he has a good opportunity to really get this game erased out of his memory and off of the fans' mind come Thursday. So I know he'll take full advantage of that opportunity.
Tough when you're a competitor. I mean, he's got those juices flowing, and then after the game to go talk to the media like that, that's the last thing you want to do, probably.
No, talking to the media is the last thing you want to do after a loss, especially, if he's a real true competitor, which he is, he's putting that on his back. He's taking that, he's going to put that on, that hurts your soul. Because like Todd said, we put, as players, we put a ton of work into this, and we care. It's not like we're out there he's not trying to fumble the ball. He's not like, I'm going to see if I can fumble the ball this game. That's ridiculous. So I think people need to give him a break and, let it come along. He'll make it happen. And I'm hoping to see a big game out of him on Thursday night.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be really great to see against a Colts team that's going to be hungry coming in here. Let's talk about this quick turnaround before we say goodbye. We'll have Russell Wilson's full press conference coming up here in just a few minutes. But how do the Broncos wash this taste out of their mouth and then get ready for Thursday night?
It's good when you have a short week because then it's easier to, move on to the next team. In a short week, it's all about getting your body right. Yes, you have to put together a game plan, but it's not so much about practice. It's about being healthy and ready to go on Thursday night. You stick to your bread and butter. You run the plays that you've been successful with, and you move on. So I think they are blessed with a short week in this one, being able to move on and turn the page and get back to winning football.
I think things just a little bit simpler on Thursday night. You don't have all this week to get ready. Just mostly getting your body right, huh, there?
Yeah, mostly, you're doing most of body work. You're watching a little bit of film. It's mostly a mental week. Mental and recovery is really what you're doing. You're going to study their game plan, try to pick up on a few keys here and there. But for the most part, it's just going to come down to who wants it more on a Thursday, on a short week, because they had a short week too.
Yeah.
So it's going to, and they have to travel. So we got the advantage, and they got to travel to the altitude.
Derek, I don't mean to cut you off there. Sorry, Russell Wilson just headed up to the podium. Let's listen live there.
Yeah, well, I thought we battled in a tough environment. Obviously, AFC West game, going against the Raiders, a really good football team, a lot of great players on that side, offense and defense. And, I thought we did some really great things. In the first half, we really executed well. We made some big plays. Courtland with the touchdown, I thought he looked great. I think, Jerry Jeudy with that touchdown, running up the seam. What a great play by him. And then in the third quarter, we hurt ourselves. 3rd and 18, 3rd and 19, I think 3rd and 20, maybe something like that. You don't want to be in those situations, those penalties and stuff like that. So, it's a game of, it's a game of not making, it's a game of trying to stay on schedule, obviously, especially when you go against a good team and a tough rivalry and all that. If we could just stay on schedule in those situations, we give ourselves a really good chance. They played really well, I thought, on both sides and stuff like that. Our defense battled. I mean, we believed that we were going to win the game. They obviously made that touchdown that last drive, and we still thought we could win it. You know what I mean? And that's just the mentality that I have, the mentality that we have together. We went up and down the field when we needed to respond, and we scored. Guys made a couple big plays there, and KJ made that big play. Guys blocked their butts off. We were going up against it. We were, I think, 1st and 20. We still find a way to convert, make a big play. Coming down the field, ran a couple on a big 3rd or 4th down, I think it was. I can't remember. Was that 4th down? Was that 4th down? I ran that one? Yeah. It's 3rd down. Yeah, it's 3rd or 4th down. And so it was a long play drive. Basically, we had to find a way. And so I think the thing about this team, though, is we're not wavering in confidence. These guys, we really believe what we can do. Obviously, seeing Javonte go down, that hurt. Hopefully, he'll be okay. I thought our guys battled throughout the game. We almost had that last play. Could have been a touchdown almost, So just, here and there. But I think the biggest thing is that third quarter we kind of hurt ourselves. That's the game, I think. But what was really cool was just seeing our sideline and us stay in tune and how much faith and belief that we had that we were going to come back and win the game. And, I tried to do everything I could to help us bring us back, and we almost got it done.
Russ, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You somewhat answered my question in terms of it being a huge opportunity, especially with your defense holding them to 4 field goals in key moments. With that, was this the most comfortable, obviously the most productive day, but the most comfortable that you saw this offense come together? You lose, but you're happy with that production and what you saw from the offense. You had a great day today.
Yeah, I thought we had, I think the first game we had, we could have been really, really great. But, once again, penalties and turnovers. That's the aim of the game. It can happen. I think this game right here, it felt super locked in, was ready to roll, all of us. I thought we studied guys, made some great plays. And like you said, I think that you understand that you feel good about where the offense is going, where we're going, what we can do. We know what we're capable of. But at the end of the day, we wake up to win. We wake up to do everything can we win. So, we'll have to study the film, figure out where we can get better. I think it's going to be simple. Just trying to stay away from penalties, and staying on schedule. And that's probably the biggest part of this game. And then, just keep believing in each other.
Russ, you guys have a short week this week, few days to prepare. How do you kind of rally the troops, the offensive side of the ball, especially without Javonte, especially on a short turnaround? How do you guys get the offense kind of right?
Well, I think that we're right there. I think we did some really special things tonight. I think when we picked up the tempo, we made some great plays. I think we battled. We did some really great things. I think how you get the guys back into it is how could you not? What a great opportunity to respond. That's what championship-type teams do. We've got to respond. We've got to battle. We've got to overcome obstacles. We've got to be battle-tested and be able to respond in a great way. And so, coming up Thursday night football, we get to play at home. It will be a great challenge. A really good football team, a lot of talent, on that team. And we got to be able to respond. And the good thing is you got to have amnesia. You got to be able to forget what went really well. You got to be able to forget what didn't go so well and just, be focused on the next moment.
Russ, how do you not get overly concerned with drops, as it seems like it's become a bit of a trend?
Well, we had a couple tonight, but I think that we know those guys can. I believe in those guys in every second, every moment. All the way to the last play, man. I don't ever doubt. So we're gonna make those plays. It's gonna be really, really great when we continue to try to do that. And we got to make our layups. We got to make the simple things, and we also got to, like I said, we got to give ourselves the best chance possible. Because we have such a great defense. I think we're gonna have a great offense. We got so much good in store, but we got to be able to help ourselves. And not make sure we're not hurting ourselves in those situations.
Russ, I know Melvin's been your guy for a long time. After something like that fumble, what do you say to him, and how do you kind of get him right with a game just in 4 days?
Well, I got to talk to him out here for a little bit, Melvin, and I got to talk to him during the game. Obviously he's so passionate. Listen, I think one of the things that this guy, Melvin, he works so hard every day. You guys should see him pre-practice, post-practice. The amount of time he puts in, the extra catches, the stuff he does running across the field just to get the extra reps, and just how he takes it to the house every time. I told him, I said, you're one of the best guys to ever play this game at this position. Don't forget that. I kept reminding him, just don't forget that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Keep reminding yourself who you are and what you've done in this league. And the reality about playing this game at the highest level, whether if it's football, basketball, golf, baseball, it don't matter what it is. There's going to be some mistakes along the way, and the best ones, they respond. And I believe in Melvin Gordon responding. And I know he's going to. And he's a guy that's just he works his butt off every day. So I believe in him. We believe in him. And he's going to get the ball again. He's going to make some great plays, and he's going to have a great season the rest of the season. We'll rely on him. And the rest of the guys, Boone and Javonte, whenever he's good to go, I don't know. But, so I don't have any doubts with him. I told him, you're one of the best. Just keep believing that and keep saying that. You know it.
Yeah, following that up. I mean, losing hurts, and you talk about Melvin being passionate, and you've tried to lift him up. Is it primarily inside him to find a way to move on and forget about the amnesia you're talking about?
Yeah, I think it's on all of us. I think, we're a team. We believe in each other. We're in this thing. That's what makes this game so special. There's 11 guys, on one side. There's another 11 on the other side, on the defensive side. And we're all some of everyone, whatever we all do together. And that's the great part about this game. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, just the gift of being able to play together, the gift of being able to believe together, the gift to be able to strap your cleats on and do it again, the gift of learning from mistakes, and the gift of keep going. You know, when you think about, mistakes and everything, I told Mel, I said, listen, do you think that Adrian Peterson never fumbled, or Walter Payton, or Barry Sanders, or anybody? I mean, stuff's going to happen. You think that Tom Brady or Drew Brees or myself never thrown an interception? You got to respond. And, we got a lot of season left, man. What a gift. We got a lot of season left. We can respond the right way. That's what we're going to do. There is no other way. There's no other option. That's what we're going to do, and I look forward to it. I look forward to how these guys show up tonight on the plane, studying the film, and then how we get there back to Denver, back home, and get ready to go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's just the beginning. It's just the start of everything. So we'll be ready to roll. Thank you, guys. Broncos country, let's ride. See you guys. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson speaking to the media at the podium live there from Allegiant Stadium. Guys, what stood out about what he had to say there?
Man, always optimistic. He's always wants the team to put their best foot forward. I love that he already went and talked to Melvin and let him know that, great players make mistakes and don't hold your head because we need you for this Thursday. We can't have you in the dumps because it's a long season and there's a lot more games to play and we need you ready. So I love his optimism. I know he's going to get the guys ready to go on Thursday. I know that he's always preaching to them about how great they could be. I know Courtland talked about how, they don't want to have too many, we're right there situations and not capitalize on it. So hopefully they capitalize this Thursday.
Yeah, they had a couple of missed opportunities today for sure against the Raiders. What about you, Derek? When you hear from Russ there?
When he talks about beating yourself, right? Turnovers and penalties. That was the story of the game. Too many penalties, putting yourself in bad positions, and popping the ball out and giving it up. And I love what he said about Melvin, how he's going to bounce back and he believes in him. That's really all you want as a player. When you make a mistake, is know that everybody on that team still trusts you and knows that you're going to make the play when the time comes. Because it's a tough position to be in, to feel like you lost the game, because it's not true. It does come down to a couple plays, but it's not true that he lost the game. That was a key factor in it. But I love like you said, the optimism, right? That it's everything.
Yeah, it's times like this where you feel happy to have a quarterback like Russ, who has that confidence and who's done it at the highest level. He's won a Super Bowl, and you believe what he has to say. So It's about this journey for the Broncos that they're about to go on here, and they got to respond quickly here with the Colts coming to town on Thursday night. But the Broncos fall for the 5th consecutive time to the Las Vegas Raiders, 32-23, the final. That's going to do it for us. For Derek Wolf and Todd Davis, I am Phil Milani. This has been Broncos Postgame Live.